Start with silence, not the peaceful kind, but the heavy silence of a place that used to be loud. Imagine walking through a corridor where thousands of footsteps once echoed every day. Metal doors slamming shut, guards shouting orders, keys rattling against cold iron bars. Now, there's nothing. Only wind moving through broken windows, and dust covering the floor where lives once unfolded behind locked doors. Abandoned prisons are not just empty buildings. They are memories frozen in concrete. Some were closed because they were too expensive. Some because they were too dangerous. And some because the world realized what was happening inside their walls should never have existed in the first place. But even after they were abandoned, their stories refused to disappear. The island prison that was supposed to be impossible. Out in the cold waters of San Francisco Bay stood a fortress designed to break hope itself, Alcatraz. Nicknamed the Rock, it was built to hold the prisoners no one else could control. Gangsters, escape artists, men considered too dangerous for ordinary facilities. The idea was simple: isolation equals obedience. Surrounded by freezing water and powerful currents, escape seemed impossible. Every meal, every supply, every piece of equipment had to be shipped to the island, and over time, the cost of maintaining the prison became almost 3 times higher than other federal prisons. But what's strange is that Alcatraz didn't close because prisoners won. It closed because reality did. In 1963, the government locked the doors for the final time. The guards left. The inmates were transferred, and the island fell silent. Today, tourists walk through empty cells where some of the most feared criminals in history once stood. Many say the air feels heavier than expected, as if the walls themselves remember the tension that once lived there. At night, when the last boats leave, the silence returns. A prison designed to punish the mind. Far from the ocean stood another prison, built on a very different idea: Eastern State Penitentiary. Its creators believed solitude could change a person. Prisoners were kept in near total isolation. They ate alone, walked alone, and even wore hoods to prevent them from seeing each other. The architects thought silence would force reflection. Instead, it often broke people. Human minds were never meant to exist in complete isolation. Some prisoners reportedly talked to themselves just to hear a voice. Others lost track of time completely. As years passed, the prison became overcrowded, damaged, and impossible to maintain. By 1971, it was finally shut down. Nature slowly began reclaiming the building. Trees grew inside crumbling walls. Rust replaced discipline. Walking through it today feels less like visiting a prison, and more like stepping into a forgotten experiment that went too far. The prison that hid a darker secret. Not every abandoned prison is known for escapes or isolation. Some are remembered for what happened behind closed laboratory doors. Holmesburg Prison looked ordinary from the outside. Concrete walls, guard towers, routine security. But inside, for years, prisoners were used in medical experiments. Chemicals, drugs, substances that many inmates didn't fully understand. Some believed they were helping science. Others said they felt like test subjects rather than human beings. When the prison closed in 1995, it didn't end with a dramatic moment. There were no riots, no final showdown. Just emptiness. Researchers who entered the abandoned buildings later described finding documents still scattered across desks. as if someone had walked away in the middle of a story that was never meant to be finished. What happens when control disappears? There's something unsettling about abandoned prisons. Not because of ghosts or supernatural legends, but because of what remains when control disappears. These places were designed to be strict, organized, and permanent. Every corner built with intention, every movement once monitored. But time doesn't respect authority. Paint peels, metal rusts. Nature breaks through concrete. And slowly, the places that once controlled thousands of lives become just another forgotten structure on the edge of a city. Visitors often say the strangest part isn't fear. It's realization. You walk through a cell block and suddenly understand how small a human life feels inside a system built from steel and stone. Why we keep returning to abandoned prisons. So why do abandoned prisons fascinate us so much? Maybe it's because they show us something uncomfortable. They remind us that even the strongest systems eventually fail. That walls meant to last forever can become ruins within a single lifetime. Or maybe it's because prisons hold stories that were never fully told. Every empty corridor once held decisions, regrets, anger, and hope. And when people leave, those emotions don't just vanish. They linger in the architecture. And when you stand there alone, surrounded by silence, you begin to feel the weight of all the lives that passed through before you. The most unsettling thing about abandoned prisons is not what's inside them, it's what they represent. Places built to control chaos, eventually becoming chaotic themselves. Places meant to isolate people, eventually isolated from the world. And maybe that's why they feel so powerful. Because they show us that nothing, not even concrete, iron, or authority, can stop time from moving forward. The next time you see a photo of an abandoned prison, don't just look at the broken walls. Listen to the silence. Because somewhere between those empty cells and rusted doors, echoes of thousands of lives are still waiting to be remembered. And maybe that's why these places never truly go silent. If you enjoyed this dark journey into forgotten places, make sure to subscribe and join us for more stories the world tried to leave behind. New videos are coming. And some stories are darker than this one.